If you use an incubator to hatch your eggs, you're going to need to gather the eggs. And while you're waiting for them to be put into the incubator, you're going to have to turn the eggs twice a day. In the past, I have had to turn the eggs, every single individual egg, by hand. And that takes a lot of time. There's potential for cracking the eggs by picking them up, having them slip out of your hands. Then I moved to using these flats, and what I'd do is I'd put a piece of board under one end, and I'd just pick the whole flat up and move it twice a day so that the eggs are sitting on an angle, which will cause them to effectively be tilted enough to change the position of the yolk. The reason you have to turn the egg is so that the yolk doesn't slowly work up towards the shell, because that can cause the egg to not develop or to develop improperly as a chick. So this year I'm not going to want to do that. So what I'm doing is I'm building a giant egg turning table, and what I've got so far is the top piece that the eggs will go in. This piece is made out of 4 and 4¼ 6 foot long fence pickets. These end pieces are a foot from inside to inside, and then it's 6 foot from here down. Now, the reason I did 6 foot, I wasn't for sure how long I was going to make it, but when I lay these in here end to end, it worked out just about perfectly. Alright, and as you can see, this is why I went with a foot inside to inside, is because it's a nice snug fit. Now, I hadn't necessarily planned on making the sides this tall, but at the same time I didn't see any harm in doing so, and it wasn't until after I assembled it that I realized that once I fill the bottom row of eggs, I can probably put a second row on top of them and be able to turn a ton of eggs all at once. Each one of these flats is cardboard, so it's biodegradable. You can throw it away after the end of the season. If I remember correctly, each one's 30 eggs, and I think they are, where's my tape measure? They're just shy of a foot wide. So you're going to get 6 of these in here, minimum, times 30. So that's 180 eggs. And if you double stack it, you could actually do, what is that, 320 eggs? I'm not good at math. So here's the first leg assembled. It'll bolt right there, and then I'll have some holes and put a bolt in for when I pivot it. When I cut this here at the angle that I did, I took the piece that was removed from the board and I stuck it in between here and here as a gap filler, and I screwed it in from both sides. Might have been a little overkill on the screws, but better safe than sorry, I suppose. Here's the finished product. I had to bring it outside so you can see it. It's getting later in the day. It was too dark in the shed. But legs are about 40 inches tall and 2 foot wide at the base. And like I said, when I cut this diagonal, I saved that, put it in there as a spacer. I've got 2 boards running along the bottom for some extra sturdiness and support. You'll notice one is set in. Reason being is this is the side I'm going to step to here. I don't want my board right here because I'll keep kicking it. But that's going to be a lot of eggs. And if for some reason that ain't enough room, even if I double stack it, this is tall enough that I could probably make another trough and put below this one, and maybe even another. And if I did that, all I'd have to do is take some screws, run them in about halfway on both ends here, on all three of them, and tie it. And then when I tilt it, it'll pull up on the rest of them or push down on the rest of them. But, excuse me, to tilt it, all I got to do is pull this carriage bolt. Look at that. Just like an incubator. And I just run the bolt in there, and it'll stay like that. And then when I get home at night, I just tilt it the other way. And they won't fall out. So I would say, let me think here. How many 6-foot cedar pickets did I use? Well, you got 2 foot here at your base. And you got just under 4 foot here, so that's 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then I would say probably these diagonals and these end pieces would make your 9th one. So I'd say 9, maybe 10 boards, and you can make one just like this. And honestly, I mean, for the foreseeable future, I don't see myself using more than what this will hold. That's 180 eggs, and if I set the eggs every week, you know, that's, well, 120 eggs is 10 dozen. And I know I'm not going to be setting 10 dozen off of what little number of birds I've got, especially since I usually let my game fowl hatch their own. So, but like I said, as tall as it is, I can always expand. So, thanks for watching. Hope this gives you some ideas, and like and share our page.